Yeah, I haven't been recording. Uh,
That's okay. We can pre-plan all the answers now, guys. Welcome to the
that was
show.
a
Can I
great.
can I do the intro? Can I do the intro for you?
Sure.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Okay,
this is a
great.
great practice run, great dry run. Uh,
Oh, good. I'm gonna do the intro. Hello and welcome. My name is Tim. I'm a beefcake. I like hanging out with people. What's up? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good, good, great. We should keep this all in just so people know. We've been talking for, I don't know, 10 minutes or so. We didn't record. We forgot.
Yeah, and by we mean me, because I'm the only one who can hit the record button, and I appreciate him throwing the "we" on the front of that. It was very beautiful and very kind, gentlemanly offer. But I will take the blame, and I'll put this all
Even
back
it,
into it. Don't
that's
worry about
hilarious. People will love this. This happens. This is
it.
normal.
This is just how it rolls. All right, so guys, welcome to Pop Culture Addicts. This is the show that is made by nerds for nerds, and I've already done this introduction once, so I'm just going to do it again. But he'll be on screen this time. See, this is Hobart. Hobart's
Like
really cool. We've been having a whole lot of fun talking. He's an up and coming musician. He's got a bunch of music out. I've checked it out on Spotify. It's a whole lot of fun to listen to, and got some very very catchy songs. I forgot to mention that in the
Thank you.
first go round in the dry run. But he's also got a movie coming out on May 22nd, and we're going to talk about that. So tonight we're going to talk about his origin story, which is a great origin story. We just talked about it. You might even hear some of it again. We're going to talk about how the movie came to be and the story behind that movie. We're going to talk about his musical influences and a whole lot of other stuff that we tend to ramble into around these parts. So Hobart, again for the second time, second verse, same as the first. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tim. And I thought that intro was better. I thought we did a better time. That was better. I like that one better. It was so succinct, and you already knew what you wanted to say. And I already know the question that's coming, so I'm excited.
Well, see, now I feel like it's a spoiler, but all right. So, uh, as I
Well,
had
they
already
watched.
asked him,
Yeah, they already know. They people who watch the show already know your first question. I already knew the first
right?
question coming in. I yeah, I watched it, so I know what's up.
All right. So, in the story of Hobart, what got you here? What said I want to be an entertainer?
Right. And so the joke I made the first time, guys, was really good. It was a villain origin story about how like I met Denzel Washington when I was a young man, and he pushed me over in the street, and I'm like, I'm coming for no. The real story is I'm from Illinois. There's not much going on. I grew up in the cornfields in Champaign County. So you get good at something because there's nothing else to do, whether it be sports or academia, or in my world it was music. I was surrounded by music. My mother played piano. My uncle was a bass guitarist. I played in a band with my brother. It's just that sort of thing that you end up doing. And then fourth grade comes along, and here's the fun part. We're going to get the SEO on this one. The internet's going to love it. Phil Collins. It's his fault. I went to the Phil Collins concert in fourth grade with my parents, and it changed me forever. The drum solo, as we talked about, the drum solo was great and in the air tonight. And Phil Collins, he dragged the music right out of me and dragged me to Hollywood, and I've been here ever since, baby. Trying to chase that white dragon called White. What's his name? Oh, Phil Collins.
Phil Collins. Well, he's a little slower and older now, so you might have a chance of catching
I
up
can
to him.
catch him
So,
now. I'm super fast.
hey,
Yeah.
super fast. All right, so you added a detail in your description this time of
Mhm.
your background story that you didn't add last time, and so now it has me wondering something else.
Mhm.
You said you were in a band with your brother.
Yeah. Yeah. 42 zeros. Now saying that out loud. I was the drummer in the band. He played bass. The neighbor played guitar and stuff. We had like one song, and now I'm thinking about it. 42 zeros, I think, is a drug reference. So good for him.
I
So
was going to ask what the name was. That's
I was in like
fantastic.
I think I was in
42
like
zeros.
fifth or sixth. I was in like fifth or sixth grade playing the drums for my brother and his high school nerdy friends. And yeah, I had like a big old white Tama drum set, Phil. And yeah, this
Phil.
is crazy. I just remember that. Yeah,
Oh, yeah. So you went and saw Phil, and then you played drums trying to
Mhm.
be Phil.
Yeah. I uh, Phil's so great, guys. Phil Collins. Phil Collins. Yeah, we're just gonna nail this on the internet. But yeah, it's his fault that I got into it, and then I was sitting behind the drums too long, and I noticed that I could probably sing better than these folks I was hanging out with. And so my brother was actually the one that's like, you can sing, right? And I had no idea. I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, you can actually, carry a tune because we'd sing along with mom to like Motown and stuff.
Oh,
And
sure. Okay.
yeah, and he was like, you can sing. So then I started singing. I started writing songs. I picked up the guitar. I started teaching myself how to do that. And thankfully, I don't have any like musical training other than piano. So there's no limits for me with music. So it's always been really cool. I play by ear, and yeah, that's where it started. So music, baby. That's my villain origin story.
I dig it. Okay. All right. See that, and that was even better than the first time around because we had this 42 zeros reference and a Phil Collins reference. So we're hitting Phil Collins drum solos and drugs all in the first 5 minutes of an interview. This is
This
this
is
is the
great.
stuff that dreams are made of.
Yeah, we're really
So
nailing it. We're really nailing this.
all right, Hobart, let's talk about your movie coming out now, May 22nd, 2026. You have a movie coming out. I believe the title is I Am Ryan.
Yes, this is
Okay.
true. This
So,
is true.
all right. So let's talk about your movie. Tell my audience about the movie and what they can look forward to. How did this come to be?
Yeah, yeah, I love it. So in 2017, I was living out here in Los Angeles already, and I started getting into writing books. Actually, I wrote a book in 2016, 2017, and it got picked up and it got a traditional publishing deal, which is insane. You know, when you try something and you fail a million times. With writing, I
Mhm.
didn't. It was just like it got picked up by Pegasus Mackenzie over in the UK. They liked it. It was
Nice.
like a thriller, and it was all about a lost slave plantation called the Carolina Gold Highway. Good plug there, by the way. You can still get it on Amazon. But so I was writing, and I was like, well, I'm going to start writing screenplays. Why not? I don't know how to do that, but I'll Google it. So I figured it out on YouTube. I started writing screenplays, and one of the first ones I wrote was I Am Ryan in 2017, the first draft of it, because my life up until then, my adult life, people always said, "You know who you look like? You know who you look like, Booby?" And I was like, Ben Affleck, and they're like, maybe not sober Ben, but Ryan Reynolds. And I was like, what? Mr. Reynolds? The Deadpool? And they're like, yeah. So anyway, I wrote this in 2017 thinking it'd be really funny to have a doppelganger steal all the jobs that Ryan wouldn't do in Hollywood. Now, in my movie, I'm Bryan Reynolds with a B. If you watch the trailer, you'll know it's Bryan Reynolds, not Ryan. And I'm hobnobbing with all the Hollywood elites, but unbeknownst to me, I'm a buffoon. I've got like a skeezy manager who's guiding the way. So that's the whole movie is the manager is booking me for gigs that Ryan would never do in his wildest dreams. And that's the movie. And it came to be just because that was my life where I'd go around and I could fool people sometimes in dark bars and stuff into thinking that I was Ryan. So that's where it came from.
All right. Okay. So you've been working on that for almost a decade then. Have you started that in 2017?
Right, and started
Now to
pitching it.
here?
Yeah, got a million no's, and then all of a sudden, Carl Jackson Studios. I started working with him on another film, just as an actor, just a small part in one of his movies. And we became friends and started chit chatting about different projects. And I just one morning I just sent it to him. I said, "Hey, what do you think of this one?" And he right away, like a minute later, he texted me back. He said, yeah, let's do this. And so yeah, got it funded, all that fun stuff. Like that doesn't happen. And so then we made a movie. Within like 6 months, we had the movie made.
That's cool.
Yeah,
So you were talking earlier about writing the book and how that got picked up right away.
yeah.
This took 10 years almost to get to the point of fruition and everything. What were some of the lessons learned in that 10 years in trying to get this put together?
Yeah, I think it's really important for all the kids out there and all the older people too, the adults. Like when you're creating something, especially art, timing is everything. You're going to create something awesome and perfect, and it may not be great for that time. It may be great in 10 years. I'm releasing music today that I wrote 10, 15 years ago. I kid you not. I just redid it. I just got better at the craft, or people are accepting of that style now, whatever it is. So with I Am Ryan, it just wasn't ready yet. And then all of a sudden, the timing is there. So it's important to put your art out there, whether it's a song or a book or anything like that. Or if you work in business or something, sometimes the deal's not going to work right away. But if you hold on to it, keep it in your back
Yeah.
pocket, somebody's going to say yes.
Okay. How did you learn to accept the no?
Oh,
Because there had to be a few no's along the way.
yeah. Unfortunately, in the entertainment industry, no is 99.9% of the time for everything because it's subjective. So I've done a ton of commercials, like commercials you see on TV and stuff like that. I've probably done like 50 total in my life. That's it, 50 out of the tens of thousands that I've auditioned for. It's insane. The no rate is no, 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 no. It's subjective. It's what the casting director wants, that sort of thing. So you get used to it. You get used to people saying no, and when you get that yes, it's like you get that imposter syndrome. You're like, well, what's different now?
What's
Yeah, what did I?
what's happening?
Is this a show like The Jury or what? What's that? The Jury Duty or the new one?
Right?
What was that? The Retreat. That great shows on Amazon, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I think that that's one of the things that when people think that, "Oh, I'm gonna go do this thing,"
yeah,
that, there's the unrealized or the unreasonable rather, expectation of just because I think it's awesome, it's going to take off immediately.
yeah,
And I think you have to have that feeling of yourself and what the art that you're doing. You have to be proud of what you're doing to be able to put it out there.
yeah.
But I think that there's also the lesson learned of handling and accepting rejection.
Yeah, and that's life with everything. So no doesn't always mean no forever. It does in some circumstances. No means no, fellas. But in some circumstances in entertainment and business, just keep it in your back pocket and keep trying because somebody might say yes. It's not over until you can't do it anymore. Then it's over.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when it comes to your art, boys and girls, no just means that it's not at that moment.
Mhm.
In other situations in life, no is definitely no, and you should listen to that no.
That's right.
100% listen to that no.
Yep. Good lesson. Good lessons here today, Tim. I like it.
Hey, we try to share some laughs and some life values, so along the way, we service both ends, you know?
Yep.
Uh,
I'm gonna leave it alone. Yeah,
all
I
right.
I heard it.
Yeah, yeah, we're just gonna
Mhm.
keep going. Okay, so making a movie like this, I'm sure had to produce a little bit of chaos, even some shenanigans along the way were had.
Mhm.
So what's a great behind the scenes story from your movie
Ooh, yeah,
that you can share
yeah.
because obviously the movie's not out yet and that sticks with you?
So I'll give you one I haven't told yet, and I'll give you one that I've told since it happened. So the one that
Okay.
nobody knows is when we were filming in front of Henry. He's the manager. We're at Henry's parents' house, and we're standing outside filming and stuff. We got a huge audience from the apartments next door. I didn't know, so we're filming on the street, obviously doing the thing, and then all of a sudden, the director looks at me and goes like this, and I turn around because I was helping like move people around and stuff. I look back, the apartment is like there's like a huge tall building and there's just like stacks of people just watching it. They just got off work, so they're all drinking and watching and stuff, but they're all very respectful. Nobody was yelling, nobody was doing anything, but they're very curious about what was happening. So that'll stick with me forever that like people were interested. I'm like, okay, we might have something here. They probably think I'm somebody. Obviously I'm nobody, but they probably think I'm somebody because I'm all gussied up in makeup and looking cute. Um, so
Sure.
that'll stick with me forever. That was amazing. Shooting on Hollywood Boulevard was insane. Like nobody gets to do that. We got to do that, and I got to eat a hot dog, and I mean it was pretty wild. It was a good time. Now the one that I tell everybody, and your listeners will love this because we are all nerds and we all have something special to us. Well, here's a special one for me. I didn't know that the woman we cast as the grandma in it, who has zero lines, by the way, she's just a curmudgeon hanging out with Bryan. She was in the original. She was in the
Okay.
original Terminator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Spielberg. I kid
Oh,
you not. We didn't know. None of us did our homework when we were casting the grandma. We just said she looks great. She shows up on time, no problem. Until we were done, and then somebody online was like, "Holy crap, you got such and such from Terminator," and I was like, "She did what?" Yeah.
say what now?
What?
So
No lines. No lines for grandma, by the way. Spoiler. I ruined it.
in retrospect, just the thought of her sitting and walking away from somebody and turning around and
Oh,
going, "I'll be back,"
it
would
would
have
have been
been
so. I had so
beautiful.
many jokes just sitting in the pocket, for Terminator, and I could have put them into the movie just to be funny, Easter eggs, and I didn't know.
Well, you don't know what you don't
If
know,
we get a
right? So
second one, but
there's
if we get an I Am Ryan
a
2,
little bit
it's
of a
happening. She's coming back.
she's coming, Grandma the sequel. All right. All right, I like it. All right, so
Mhm.
let's talk for a few minutes about your music because, like I said, legitimately over the last couple days, I've been
Thank
listening
you.
to your stuff quite a bit on Spotify, and when I'm at, I work for those who don't know, playing the home version of Pop Culture Addicts. I work at a car lot during the day, and when I'm out photographing things to get vehicles up online and all that kind of stuff, I have my AirPods in and I listen to music while I'm snapping photos. So you didn't realize it, but you were walking around
Making
the
money.
parking lot with me today
Making
as I
money,
was
Tim. Thank you.
doing a few
Streaming me.
things.
Thank you.
That's right.
Yeah.
I was out there making the bacon. So, all right. From what I saw on Spotify, there's I think 3 albums out. You've got a whole
Yeah.
bunch of singles as well, just just out there. And I saw
Oh,
something
yeah.
about a soundtrack for I Am Ryan. So So we already know that there's this very large influence behind you with drug culture and 42 zeros. Uh,
Yeah. My brother's going to love this one. Yeah.
and oh yeah. Obviously your need to chase down Phil Collins influenced you quite a bit. But what are some of the other influences uh, when it came to you, your music, your writing style? What other musicians
Yeah.
helped you
Well,
become the
the easy
musician
answer
you
is to
are
go
today?
back, to the old ones that mom showed me, like, the Beach Boys and Motown. But you really get into it, like what my music sounds like. You can go to that whole record label, Fueled by Ramen. I think Atlantic owned them for a while. So you're talking like Paramore, 21 Pilots, who I was lucky enough to tour with, 21
Mhm.
Pilots early on in their career. And they were the best. They were so good at that
Oh,
time.
very
And
cool.
they were asking me. Tyler was asking me at that time. He's like, "Well, how do you tour?" And I was like, "Well, you got to save up money. You got to work your job. You save up money, and then you go out, try, and then you come back. And it's like a reset. You can't just go out all at once. It doesn't work like that." Anyway, so it's all those bands like Panic at the Disco, Fall Out Boy. Big fans of that. And as I got older, my taste went from rock and roll more into like progressive metal. So I'm really
Yeah.
big into like Periphery or Bring Me the Horizon or A Day to Remember, stuff like that. Good Charlotte, rock and roll, big influence on me when I was young,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was just
Yeah.
rock and roll, rock and roll. Well, in my music, I play a lot of rock and roll, of course, but all of my like electronic songs or any kind of pop song I put together still has real instruments in it. That's always been my thing. Is like, well, at least it's going to have a guitar in there if I'm programming, if I'm producing or whatever. It's going to have something. So that was
Mhm.
really important to me. The loud guitars and loud drums and that loud music. Warp Tour stuff. I was lucky to play on the Warp Tour, and yeah, that's what really still drives me to this day. So just depending on the mood, if I'm doing a soft song or if I'm doing a heavy song, just I can do whatever, and it's cool to have that freedom.
All right. So that actually
Oh, I
makes a
wasn't.
whole
I
lot of
wasn't.
sense to me
I
because I
wasn't
did not
on Fueled.
realize
I
that you were
should
on
say I
the
was
Fueled by
inspired
Ramen
by Fueled.
label
Yes, yes,
with
yes.
some of those other acts. Oh, you weren't. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I misunderstood you. Okay. But even at that, that still makes a lot of sense because when I first started listening to your music, I
Thank
was
you.
like,
Yeah.
boy, this is good rock, solid rock music with pop sensibilities. That's what I heard. And it reminded me a lot of like Panic at the Disco. That was what, some of the stuff that I had listened to. I was like, oh yeah, this all makes sense. So that kind of tracks, like I could hear, if somebody had told me that this was a song by, oh God, I got to look it up now because I can't remember the
Oh,
name of the
thank
song. And hold on, I'm actually have you pulled up on my Spotify. See, there you are. You're right there. Um, I think it was "Buried on the Moon." I was like, "Oh yeah, I could actually hear that." Brandon Urie sing that song in my head.
thank you.
I was like,
Yeah.
"That's a very Panic, sounding song." So, um,
Yes. And yeah, I love Brendan. Brendan's great. I stole his guitar one time and used it to record some music. I kid you not. It was laying in a studio. He was working on other stuff at the time, like when I think it was when Panic was like kind of splitting, and it was
mhm.
just him and Spence. And he left his guitar in there, and the producer was like, "Yo, that's Brendan's guitar." And I was like, "Well, I'm recording with that." It was like a 1960s American Fender Tele with like
Oh
a
wow.
slim. It was so nice, and to this day, I prefer. I'm still chasing that Dragon, Phil Collins, and that guitar. I can't find that guitar anywhere. It's amazing. But I love Panic. They're great.
Yeah. So, yeah, guys, if you're listening and you're wondering what his music sounds like, go to Spotify. You can look him up on Spotify. You can look him up on Apple. He's on both, and got some really good stuff out there. Honestly, I very much have enjoyed it.
Thanks.
But so for those who maybe are unfamiliar with your music and are going to be listening for the first time, what would you say is a good entry? What song is a good entry point
Ooh, good
for people
intro.
to kind of get a yeah, to get a a nice overview of Hobart and the music that he makes.
That's a really good question. So I would say off the first album, if you guys get to the heavy stuff, Feels is really good, or We Got It. Those are good. If you go to the second album, I would say Breathe is kind of like an EDM rock song. But if you're just going like recently, Buried on the Moon, you nailed it. Buried on the Moon's great. Wishing Well's a lot of fun. Yeah, I would say. Oh, you know what's really been popular though, which is weird. A song called Vampire. I recently did a concert and it was like 3 songs and they requested that I play Vampire. It's a song about being a vampire. It's crazy. It's just a silly Halloween song and people love that song. So check out Vampire if you want to be spooky this Halloween. It's nice.
Well, it's not Rush to Halloween, but yeah, I get where you're going with it. Okay. Uh,
You want to feel spooky this summer.
much better answer. There we go. Yeah, we're gonna feel spooky this summer. Yeah, I don't want to feel spooky that, let's
I get it. I get it.
I mean, I've
Well,
already
yeah, I'm biased, but yeah, you just press play and you find whatever you guys like. Everybody likes something different. So, but thank you for listening, and this will segue nicely into the soundtrack for I Am Ryan.
yeah, so let's talk about that because I saw some notes about that. I've been following you on Instagram for a little bit and checking you out there over on the IG. So let's talk about the soundtrack for I Am Ryan. What can people look forward to on that?
That was the hardest thing I've ever done, probably. A soundtrack. It was insane. I had to compose the movie. That was part of the sign off with Carl Jackson Studios was like, okay, cool, you wrote this script, you're gonna act in it. And I was casually, I was like, oh, I can do the music for it. I didn't realize that I was gonna be doing the music for it. Like they sent me the movie before everybody, and they're like, okay, cool. You have to match it up to like I've done TV theme show stuff, I've done, random video game music and licensing, whatever. But a movie, it's an hour and a half of like, I have to watch it and then go back and create. And it was like I had to try a bunch of different things before I found what it should sound like. Because I can make it rock and roll, I can make it electronic, whatever. But that wasn't right. So when I started really getting into it, the studio sent over a fake intro, like a fake intro to the movie. It's like a big animated sequence you guys are going to enjoy, and it had Bossa Nova from the Austin Powers movie in it. And I was like, holy crap! Yeah, I was like,
Oh
that works
yeah.
really well, but it's not heavy enough for me.
Yeah.
I'm a big boy. I need some drums in there. So what I did was I created like a new genre of bossa nova music mixed with marching band percussion. So it's like a college marching band just killing it while bossa nova's going on and stuff.
Interesting.
And I sneak that in throughout the entire movie. And then I also sneak in a bunch of like different languages, like the vocals coming in different languages and stuff, just to mess with people. But really, it's good for marketing, like internationally. But so it's an odd thing, but it's the hardest thing I've ever done, probably.
All right. Well, that's cool. Boy, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the marriage of bossa nova with a drum line.
You'll hear it and you'll be like, oh, you'll get it once you hear it. It's hard to, it's like, oh, I don't know if it's been done. I'm sure it has, but I've never heard anybody put a college marching band in with bossa nova like quartet.
No, the only thing that I can think of, outside of college football games and such, that has the college marching band sound, that drum line sound. There was a song by White Zombie on their
Yes.
super sexy swinging remix sound that had a drum line in it. Um,
Amazing.
yeah, and that's the only one I could think of off the top of my head. But that was like,
Good callback. White Zombie. Gosh, I love White Zombie. My uncle allegedly went to Berkeley School of Music. I think he just visited. I don't think he went there, but he played bass. And he played bass in some bands. And he said the chick who played bass in White Zombie he really liked because she smelled like motor oil. I thought that was an odd thing to say to a child, but I liked it. I'll remember it forever. My uncle thought that girl was sexy, like motor
yeah.
oil.
All right, so we've talked about you working in with your movie and other forms of acting. We've talked about your music. You talked about your novel and being a screenwriter and doing all these other things. And I'm sure that if we, we took the time and sat down and put our heads together, we could figure out a bunch of other things that take your time and your energy. So how do you recharge your batteries between projects to make sure that I've given my all for this thing, now I have to give it for this thing? What are we doing in the middle there to recharge?
So I think it's really important for people to know that there's a daily recharge and there's like a big recharge. So for the big recharges, everybody knows
Mhm.
vacation is super important. You got to get away. I don't care if it's a weekend or whatever. So I can do vacations for like 2 or 3 days, or I can do them for like seven. I can't really go beyond that because then I get restless. Like I got to get back to work. So recharging battery long term is super
Sure.
important to go on vacations. Probably every like 2 months, I'm out of here. I got to go do something. And then, but the daily is, and for your nerds out there, they can find me on Call of Duty. I do enjoy playing a lot of video games. I don't get too often, but every day I will sit down for like one round of team deathmatch hardcore, and I will show up some 12-year-olds, and I don't use my microphone. I don't talk, but I just slay people, and then I go about my day.
Yeah, I get that. Uh, there's nothing worse though than getting killed in Call of Duty or Battlefield, and then you hear, "Yeah, he sucks."
Yeah, I don't even play with any volume on. People think it's weird. I'm a musician. I'm around music all day. When I'm in my car, I don't listen to music. I listen to the like sports, AM radio, whatever. And then when I'm playing
Okay.
Call of Duty, it's absolute silence, and people think I'm insane. They're like, "This guy's a psycho, just playing on silent."
I have to have s I don't typically turn my mic on unless I'm in a group chat with my friends, um, because I don't wanna, I don't have a
I
reason
wish
for the
I
most
had
part to talk
friends.
to the
I
people that
wish I
I'm playing
had
with.
friends. That'd be great. Play video games with. It'd be great. It's just me out there.
Later, Hobart will be sitting there with his controller, all by myself. Some tears, little tears,
That'll
little
be my next
waterworks.
Instagram video is me
Alright.
playing Call of Duty, just that song in the background. Like, Ryan, would you endorse my movie? I have no friends.
I have no friends.
There's the title, Ryan. I have no friends.
There you go. All right. All right. So, Hobart, you've done a really good job of answering all my questions, sensical and nonsensical, up to this point. I appreciate your patience. Even with answering some of them twice, you did a really good job at that. So
Okay.
now it's time to ask you our silly question. Now, we call it the silly question. It's not really all that silly of a silly question, but we call it that just because it makes us feel better. The basis behind this question is that our one of my live co-hosts, our live show co-host, Kathleen, was out and about with her daughter, and somebody asked her 7-year-old daughter this question, but not her, and she
Yes.
thought, "Well, that's rude. You should never age out of this." And that question is, Hobart, what's your favorite dinosaur?
Oh, yeah, that's easy. Pachycephalosaurus or the Antarctosaurus. I love dinosaurs. I think it's important for kids to love dinosaurs too.
That was a very, very fast answer. I
Yeah,
love this.
Pachycephalosaurus got the cool head. Antarctosaurus is really weird looking. Didn't even know Antarctica had dinosaurs, but it totally makes sense because it was warm at one point. But you know what really threw me for a loop for all my dinosaur nerds out there? What is it? The Spinosaurus could swim, and it's huge, and it was like the only dinosaur that could legit swim and walk on land. It was crazy. Yeah. Anyway,
Is that the
yeah, it's
one
got
with a
like a
massive
huge
fin on the
spiny
back?
fin. It looks like a fish you would catch in Illinois, like a bluegill
Yeah.
or something. Yeah,
Okay.
but on its back. Yeah. What's your wait?
Yeah.
What's
Okay.
you're not getting out of this? What's
All
your
right.
favorite?
Well, would you look at the time? We got a thing to catch. No, crap, dang it. No, my favorite is has always been Triceratops.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I've always ever since and the lore to that is that growing up, I've always thought rhinos were super cool. I still think they are. And I will argue with anyone that they are a living, breathing dinosaur today. That's um, yeah, they're all badasses. So, um, yeah. And so, yeah, when I found out about the Triceratops when I was a kid, I was like, "Oh, wow, triple rhino. This is awesome." And that's before I realized that there was rhinos with more than one horn, and then there was the one with the two horn, and you know, and then I did some.
So you're of the school of thought that like the most metal of all fish then would be the narwhal because he has a sword for a head. So
Yeah,
you're thinking like rhino, the narwhal.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
I like it.
I'll sign on to both of those. Yeah, I've never thought about having a favorite fish before, but now all of a sudden, yeah, I have to. It has to be the narwhal. So, or maybe a swordfish, because either way, they're stabbing somebody.
Right. Yep. Forgot about that. Yep.
There you go. All right, Hobart, thank you so much for being on Pop Culture Addicts today. Where can our listeners and viewers go to find out more about you, your work, and things you got coming up, like I Am Ryan?
Thank you so much for having me today. The easiest way to find me, guys, is on Instagram, Big Sushi Vampire, because I'm big, I love sushi, and I'm a vampire. I was born in 1859, year of the Lord, 167 now. But Big Sushi Vampire, guys, Instagram. I'm on TikTok and YouTube and all that too, but don't worry about it. Just Instagram, because I post there every day. And that's how you keep up with me and my music and movies and all that fun stuff.
All right, very cool. And now we mentioned earlier that I Am Ryan is coming to theaters. When can they start looking for that to be at their local theaters? I know it's coming out May 22nd, but can they start looking now for? Can they pre-order tickets?
Yeah, and I don't know when this will exactly come out, guys, but by the time you see this, it will be on Fandango, Atom Tickets. Phoenix Theater's already signed up. We're going to do a limited release in America first, so that's probably like 15 markets or something, the big ones, and we'll move to the smaller ones as we go. So all you got to do is sign up on Fandango. That's the easiest way to do it. Put in your email and your zip code, and they'll just email you when it's ready. So I Am Ryan, Fandango, Google it. You'll be good to go. If you can't remember, hit me up on Instagram. Big Sushi Vampire. I will help you.
All right, very cool. Well, I'm going to put obviously links for. I'll put a Fandango link down in the show notes down below. Your Instagram handle and yeah, some notes about. We'll put a link as down there as well for I Am Ryan, so they can check out the trailer for that as well. So, guys, this seems like a really good time to remind you, however, that not only should you be checking out Hobart and following him at Big Sushi Vampire on Instagram, but clicking like and subscribe here on our YouTube channel is a really big deal, and it helps us out an absolute ton. So, yeah, click like, click subscribe. It's absolutely free. It costs you this much, or these together. Yeah. So click like and subscribe, and go follow Hobart as well. Yeah, and check out his music. You will not be disappointed. So, guys, thank you so much for listening and or watching. Thank you to Hobart for being here on Pop Culture Addicts. And until next time, may the force be with you as you continue to live long and prosper. Goodbye. Reference to any specific product or entity mentioned on this podcast does not constitute an endorsement or recommendation by Pop Culture Addicts. The views expressed by guests are their own, and their appearance on the program does not imply an endorsement of them or any entity they represent. If you have questions about this disclaimer, please contact us via email at info@pcapod.com.